Have you ever sat at your desk and wondered, could a robot do my job? Well, today, we're looking at a fascinating story about someone who didn't just wonder, they decided to find out for themselves by actively trying to automate their own job away. It's a pretty wild experiment.
And it all started with this question. I mean, who doesn't relate to this? You know, the dream of sitting back in a comfy chair, watching a bunch of dials and screens, and only having to hit a big red button if things really go sideways. This one simple, funny thought actually kicked off a serious deep dive into the future of work.
And this isn't just some fantasy. Get this. A McKinsey report found that about 30% of all the hours we work here in the US could be automated by 2030. That is a huge number. So it's not really a question of if automation is coming for white-collar jobs, it's a question of when.
So, let's talk about this Homer Simpson dream. It's about more than just kicking your feet up. It's about effortlessly overseeing these super complex systems. And the field we're talking about today, GRC, is supposed to be exactly that. Stable, predictable, and let's just say it, kind of boring. That makes it the absolute perfect candidate for this automated future.
But why GRC? What is it about governance, risk, and compliance, the department that's supposed to keep a company out of trouble, that makes it so ripe for an AI takeover? Well, to be totally blunt, it's because the way we do it now is pretty broken. I mean, this phrase just nails it, doesn't it? Spreadsheet babysitting. Instead of doing the important work of actually managing big-picture risk, the day-to-day reality is just drowning in manual tasks. You're updating spreadsheets, chasing people for approvals, and just compiling report after report. It's an analog process in a digital world.
And if you dig a little deeper, you find some uncomfortable truths. Those big risk assessments, they're just a snapshot in time, probably already out of date by the time you read them. The surveys you sent out, totally subjective. The risk ratings you assign, they can actually be negotiated down, and those final scores that everyone looks at, a lot of the time, it's just fuzzy math.
And here's the real kicker. While the GRC team is buried in last quarter's static report, the actual business is moving at the speed of light. New systems are rolling out, people are leaving and joining, and new threats are popping up every single day. The old way of doing things just can't keep pace.
So what do? Wait around to become obsolete? Nah. Instead, the author of this experiment started building. Late at night, just fueled by curiosity, they started creating their own automated helpers, a set of prototypes they called the Risk Bots.
And these bots aren't just random code. They're built on a really cool idea from the psychologist Daniel Kahneman. He proposed that our brains have two ways of thinking, a system 1 that's super fast and intuitive, and a system 2 that's slow and logical. This whole thinking fast and slow idea is the secret sauce here. It's the framework for how these risk bots work. So let's break down how you can actually apply this psychological concept to build a way smarter risk management system.
It's pretty simple when you break it down. System 1 is your gut. It's quick, almost automatic. It spots patterns and screams, hey, something's weird here. System 2 is your conscious brain. It's slow, it's deliberate. It carefully weighs the evidence and applies logic. The goal was to build bots that could mimic both.
Okay, so let's check out the first fast-thinking bot. This one is like a smoke detector for fairness. It constantly scans public mortgage data for any signs of potential bias. So if loan approvals for one group suddenly drop, it goes off. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a fire, but it makes that loud, annoying beep that forces you to go and check it out.
The next prototype is pretty cool. It uses AI to read through millions of customer complaints, looking for patterns. The author calls it the search for financial food poisoning. It's like scrolling through tons of online reviews to find the one restaurant that's making everybody sick. It quickly flags which companies might have some seriously unhappy customers.
And the third one is like that kid in class who tells on everyone. It scans internal banking logs for anything out of the ordinary. Weird spikes in transactions, error rates, that kind of thing. It might be a little noisy, but it's great at catching things that a human might miss. All three of these bots are about one thing: speed.
Okay, so you've got all these fast, loud alarms going off from System 1. Now you need System 2, the grown-up in the room. This is the slow, deliberate part of the AI. It takes in all those signals from the smoke detectors and the tattletales and asks the single most important question. Okay, but does this actually matter? So here's how it all comes together. Step 1. The fast-thinking System 1 bots raise the alarms. Step 2. A slow-thinking engine takes all those signals and compares them against what the company actually cares about, its risk appetite. And then, Step 3.
A large language model translates all that complicated data into a simple, easy-to-read summary for a human. Which brings us full circle, right back to the beginning. We started with the Homer Simpson dream of pushing a button. So, after you build all this incredible automation, what's left of the job?
And this, right here, is the most important idea. We need to reframe the question. It's not about, will AI take my job? It's about, okay, once AI is doing all the boring stuff, what's the important work that's left for me to do?
The difference is just night and day. The old job was about collecting data, running checklists, compiling reports. The new job? It's about interpreting signals from the AI, making sure decisions line up with your values, and, most importantly, exercising human judgment. You go from being a collector to being a strategist.
And that's the real punchline. The job becomes less about just producing noise and more about finding the meaning in the signals. Automation doesn't get rid of the job, it elevates it. It strips away all the drudgery, and the only thing left to do is the work that really matters. And that's not boring at all. That's leadership. And that leaves us with one last, kind of mind-blowing thought. If one person could build prototypes like this in their spare time, just for fun, what's going to happen when entire companies with billions of dollars and armies of engineers decide to go all in on this? Just imagine that for a second.